Where are you showing? Have you got the snake? There is a snake. Well spotted, Craig. There is a snakey. Look at that. Go, Craig, go. That's so cool. Look at that. It looks like a worm slung if I'm just looking very quickly. What do you think, Craig? Looks like one. It doesn't look like it's actually even an, isn't it an adult just yet? You see, the reason why I'm saying I don't think it's an adult is, remember I showed you a picture. No, it's got quite a dark black stripe on it. No, that is, come on, move your head away from the leaf is blocking it. They've got fairly large eyes, big green eyes. And I know the juveniles are more grey in colour and they tend to have a bit of orange on the throat. Yep, there we go. Juvenile Boom Slang, everybody. Very cool. I'm glad we drove in here to try and figure out what on earth was going on. That's very cool. Remember, I showed you an epic picture just the other day. Now, have a little listen to the birds as they start to shout. Look at that chugra inspecting it. You better be careful. Very careful, birdie. You're getting far too close. And they will do that. They'll get really, really close and then try and just peck at the snake, as also like we see birds mobbing other birds. They'll mob snakes too and peck at them and annoy them in the hope that they will just move away. But I reckon that the snake is going to sit still now and just keep watching where those birds bounce around. And you can see that chugra, that brown crown chugra, has got a very sharp hook on the end of its bill. So it needs to be careful, because if it were to peck at that snake, it could quite easily open it up slightly. Very cool. Very, very, very cool to see that. Exceptionally amazing. We were lucky. This is the second boom slang I've seen. First time being a big adult. And now this one, and this one being a juvenile. I will try and reposition at some point as well. See, Nick, you're wondering which birds typically hunt snakes? Well, I've seen, well, now I'm just trying to think who have I actually seen eating a bird. Well, boom slungs is one of them. I've also seen puff adders eating guinea fowls and things like that. I've seen rock pythons eating birds, African rock pythons. Craig, any ones in particular you've seen? Maybe a mamba, a green mamba that spends quite a bit of time in the tree, typically going after chicks. Even a black mamba would eat the youngsters. And Craig, you love snakes. Craig's actually, one of his favorite things, in fact, is snakes. I'm trying to think who else really feeds on. Maybe a tree snake if it was quick enough to grab one, but I mean, not tree snake, sorry, I meant to say a spotted bush snake. Look at that. Look at it's puffed itself up. Now you can see the orange on the throat that I was telling you about, that you typically see with the juvenile boom slung. It's very unhappy. So kind of like how a chameleon blows its throat up to say, hey, get away from me, or to try and make itself look big and scary. That's exactly what this boom slung is doing to the chugra right now. And like we were talking about, even if a snake were to strike at the bird, it really needs to bite down hard and almost chew in order to get an effective amount of venom out, because they are back-fanged. So their fangs aren't situated at the front of their mouth. That's so cool. Craig, do you want me to go a little bit further forward? We can totally do that. Let's do that. I'll go in here. And then we can have nice close-ups. Sherry, you've said, is it rare to see a snake here? No, not necessarily. It's just hard to find them. So we see a lot of evidence of snakes. The snakes crossing the road, so their tracks. We see their skin often after they've shed it. Can you still see it, Craig? Let me go to, oh, I can see it. I can try and point to you. Yeah, in there. Somewhere. So it's just really, really tough to find them. I'm just trying to find it. I can see it with my eyes. Let me try again, Craig. Is it a little bit further to the right? I'm just trying to gauge. Sure, it's there somewhere. Maybe there? No, I think you might be on it. I can totally see the snake. Not here. All right. Oh, there we go, Craig. I've got it. Okay, well, we did find it. It was there the entire time, just dangling from the branch. And of course, against the white sky, it was quite difficult to see, because it kind of just looks like a twig. Now, the birds have moved off. I'm sure that the snake is very excited by that. It's cool how it's got the little dots on it too. I think it may have eaten something. What do you think, Trey? It looks quite fat. Sort of there. You see? That part of its body is expanded a lot more. I think that it might have eaten something. Maybe not anything too big. I'm trying to find my binoculars so I can have a look as well. I think I can maybe see better with my binoculars. And give it a bash. I've got to find focus now. I think it has. Maybe it's eaten something like maybe a lizard, especially a young boom slang like this. It's going to be taking anything that it can find. A mouse of sorts. There's plenty of little rodents and things around at the moment. Maybe even a bird. Now, Coast Cider, you're wondering if any of the snakes in Africa make noises. Well, the one that comes to mind is the puff adder. When a puff adder gets exceptionally angry, it makes an interesting puffing noise. Craig, can you make the puffing noise of a puff adder? Come on, try. Yes, you can. Don't be shy. No one will judge you.
I'll leave it up to you.
Too much. I can't make the sound of a puff adder. Perhaps we can ask Brent and Tristan at some point, but I'm sure Brent will be up for that. But yes, they do make a sound. It's like a puffing, hissing type of noise. They get quite upset. But the puff adders are sort of in the viper family. So when you look at them, they're a little bit like a diamond back rattlesnake with a very triangular sort of head and then short, stout bodies. But they don't have a rattle at the end of their tail, but they've got those very dramatic markings on their backs too. I'm so happy that we got a snake. This is so interesting. I didn't think we were going to come out and see one today. I mean, like I said, the birds alarm for so many different things out here. We were really lucky. Now, Snakey, I would move if I were you. I'd rather go and sit lower down on the trunks of the tree than stay up top there. But it's small. It's maybe only just bigger than the length of a ruler. It's not quite big just yet. It can get a bit bigger than that. Craig, what's the biggest boom slang you've ever seen?
I don't know. Maybe just around a meter.
Around about a meter, says Craig. We pulled a big one out once when I was guiding down in the Eastern Cape of South Africa at a lodge called River Lodge. And we had thatched roofs. So you can imagine, birds absolutely love to nest in there. And worm slangs, being specialists at climbing trees or just climbing things in general, they would go up into the thatched roofs and they'd eat the chicks. I mean, it's obviously quite easy for a lot of different snakes to raid birds' nests rather than actually physically catching a bird that's, say, perched on a tree. So they tend to do that quite a lot. Anyways, and we constantly have to remove these snakes from the roof and from the thatch. And there was one that must have been just over 1.5 meters, maybe about 1.4 meters. It was exceptionally large. I thought it was quite a big boom slang. But I have heard stories of boom slangs reaching just shy of 2 meters. But I have not seen one that big just yet. Very cool, though. Joy, you're wondering if there are any little hatchlings, how many hatchlings they have in one go. I don't actually know how many would be in one sort of clutch. I'm trying to think, maybe I'm just going to guess here, between 15 and 30, somewhere around there. They typically have quite a few. And you're wondering, could there be more nearby? I don't think so. This one actually looks older than the snake that's just newly hatched. I've seen newly hatched boom slangs before. They are, I'm trying to think how big they must have been. They must have been only about 10 to 15 centimeters, maybe a bit more than that, maybe 15 to 20 centimeters. Also, somewhere around there. So I think this one is a little bit too big. I think it's been around for a few months at least. I'm actually not sure how quickly the boom slangs will grow. I think it also depends on how much they need to eat. And, well, we can chat more about that in a little bit. We'll just talk about general snake habits. But we'll sit here for a little bit longer and see where the snake goes. But Brent has now got his eyes focused on the ground. Look how cool this is. The snake has moved just a little bit. I also climbed out of the car to try to take a photo of it. So I'm climbing back into the car now. I'm going to just stand next to it and plug myself in. And I'll watch a monitor from here. I was having a little look around to see what else we could find. But no more snakes. But it's definitely eaten something. So Craig was like, maybe it's just sitting up in the tops of the branches, trying to get some of the sun, trying to just digest its food. That's exactly what it could be doing. But there you can see that there's definitely something in its belly. And I reckon it's probably only maybe ate it an hour and a bit ago. I don't think too long ago. Very nice to see. And these snakes have got such big eyes. Really, 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 really big eyes too. Incredible eyesight. So when a chameleon sits very still, it hopes that a boom slang hasn't spotted it. This is so epic. But it is watching us. It's definitely been keeping an eye on us the entire time. Perhaps it's also nervous. I can't imagine why, though. I mean, I'm not going to go over there and catch it, that's for sure. I don't like to touch any venomous snakes. They can just stand and I'll just watch them from the distance. So cool. But it's really not very big. It kind of looks big on screen, but it isn't. The fact that it's got those colors just shows you that I don't even think it would be a year old. I think it's maybe only a month or something old. It's not very big. Just trying to think when they would first shed their skin. Maybe, I suppose it would also depend how rapidly it's growing, how much it's eating. Maybe after the first week or two. Mina, now here's a question that, well, I suppose it's up for interpretation and everybody would have a different answer. You said which snake has the prettiest pattern, prettiest coloration. I like the juvenile boom slangs. I think I've in fact said this to you before, that I think that they're some of the prettiest snakes, especially when we saw it inflate its throat at that chagra. I was not happy with it, and you could see the orange, the grey, and then the bright green eyes, beautiful as well. Puff adders, you get some amazing colorations on puff adders, especially if it really sort of dark. Craig's just having a little coughing fit. You okay, Craig? Do you want some water? There we go. You okay? We don't need to call paramedics? Sure? He's fine. So it's kind of up to you. So in my opinion, you know what another one is? A Cape Cobra. My goodness. A Cape Cobra is beautiful. The golden yellows that they go. Perhaps you want to type Cape Cobra into your Google search engine or whichever search engine you use and have a look at them. Craig, what snake do you think's got the prettiest design on it?
I don't know. There's some cool rat snakes as well.
Rat snakes, says Craig. Have a look at some of those. What about a red-lipped herald? They're quite pretty too. Some of the scarp stirkers have got amazing patterns on their bodies. But let us know, what's your favorite snake? It doesn't even have to be a snake that occurs in Africa or South Africa. It could be perhaps from wherever in the world you are from. Let us know. #SafariLive. It'll be quite cool. Maybe I'll learn a thing or two. Maybe I'll even hear about a snake that I have no idea about. There are so many of them. But this is really cool. I think we're going to head off now, though. I think we're going to leave our snakey. I'm just going to unplug myself for like 2 seconds. Sorry, that's me jumping in. Climbing back in again. Bye, snakey. It was nice to know you. Be safe.